You see on the bench here, a Riccar 8500. This machine had thread wound around every single rotating shaft inside it, to a baffling degree. Like, I'm not sure how long. Like, pay attention while you're sewing at all, because as we get big, there was a huge wad of thread wound around behind the hook, so I had to remove the hook. There was thread wound around down on the motor in the back, which is so far from anywhere that thread should be. The bobbin winder is up here. Thread worked its way all the way from up here down in on the motor a foot away. There was just thread wound on everything in this machine, and that, like, I don't understand how that happens, because if you've got thread and it's going anywhere in your machine that is not on the thread path to the needle or in your bobbin area, first of all, your machine won't sew, and second of all, it's gonna stop your machine from working at all. But I got in, I've gotten all those wads and wads of thread out, and now, since I had to take the hook and everything off to get at the big wad of thread that was just packed in around the back of it, I'm gonna finish cleaning our hook and do a few other repairs that I found while I was working, and get this machine working and running again properly. So this is the hook, and you can see with my dental pick tracing along, and this has already been in my sonic cleaner and had a lot of dirt removed, but there's still a trace around the edge here of really stuck goop. And I'm going to finish polishing that off and cleaning that. This is the clip ring that held the hook in place. It also had a solid ring of gunk on it that I've brushed off already. And the hook here is polished. It had gunk in every one of these channels. And there's also a hook here. This is the top of where it would go, and there was this crack here was also packed. But this is all clean, or gonna get finished cleaning real quick, and then we'll reassemble this and get it reinstalled. There are a couple styles of rotary hooks. Some, and the ones that I prefer, are a little easier to get disassembled than these. You want this bobbin case carrier in the middle of the hook to set in on this ridge, and then this case, this hook has a retainer ring like so, and then it has screws from the back side to hold that retainer ring on, and they are sprung so there's a little bit of motion for the thread to pop around the bobbin case and carrier in the middle here. The other style, which I prefer, is a little more complicated to manufacture, but it's only got one piece to remove to get this bobbin carrier out of the middle for cleaning. So this one we've got to put that ring on. And then we've got 3 studs with springs, and each one goes in the 3 holes around the edge here. These are extremely finely threaded, so we need to be careful that we feel them catch properly, which is what I'm quiet and concentrating on here. Alright, so the first one is in place. And these studs and springs, make sure that we get a spring on each stud, and don't tighten the stud down until you get all 3 in. So you need to make sure that the stud goes all the way in and lines up, and that one lined up pretty quickly. That was nice. Now that I've got 2 in, the third one should be very easy. The third one went right in as well. Okay. So we want to make sure and tighten these down. And they have to go all the way in, because that shoulder tightens against this retainer ring, so that the spring allows that retainer ring to slip out a little bit when the machine runs. And you have to make sure these springs are in place so that they hold everything together properly. If the springs are missing on this case here, then the center bobbin holder will flop around too much and you'll get a lot of bad stitches. So don't lose those little springs, or make sure that you've got something to make replacements out of. So just check these are all snug. Obviously they're tiny, you can't over tighten them. Now with this assembled, I'm going to have to put it back on the machine and time it. And since I'm actually when I first went to take this apart, the other style of these L Bobbin cases, if you remove this plate here that is on the outside, it usually releases that centerpiece. But when I did that, it only took this plate off the side, which still needed cleaning underneath. You can see all along in here the pitting and some of the finish damage that it suffered. But when you put these curve outer plates back on an L style case, the flat edge always has to line up with the back side. So this is the front where the bobbin goes in, and it's got this nice flat back side. This flat spring piece that goes around the outside matches flat on the back, and also you'll note that it's got the screw holes won't line up if you try to put it on backwards. So it only fits one way, and the easy way is to match the flat on the back. So I'm gonna try to get this middle screw to go in first. And just get it started, make sure this is still a little movement. Get the second one to turn. It's all moving around, so we've got plenty of space to line our third screw up. Alright. Once the third screw goes in, we can tighten these down. You'll note I snugged the third screw in and then went across and snugged the other, snug number 2, snug and tighten number 3, tighten number 2, number 1 rather, 2, 3, because I did 1, 2, 3, like that counting. Anyhow, put them all in loose and then snug them and then tighten them so they'll stay put. And now our hook assembly is back together. It's going to be time to install it and do the timing. Back side of the hook here, there are 3 screws to hold it onto the round drive shaft. So we're just going to slip that in place, and I need a needle in place to time everything. And just like on other zigzag machines, once we get our needle in position, make sure that we've got zigzag at its widest, and rotate our machine there. Get that bobbin carrier out of the way so we can see that hook where it is. Make sure we've got our machine on the left hand side as our hook rotates counterclockwise. Raise our eye, and I'm looking at the back side here. Now, the challenging part, of course, is that the hook also, because it slides forward and back, is also setting our scarf clearance, our needle hook clearance, as we slide forward and back. Let me find something to grab onto that from there. So this whole thing slides forward and backwards, so we have to get our hook in position and then slide it all forward on the shaft. And now I need to reach in, carefully tighten a screw, and one screw, rotate until we have access to the other 2 screws, and tighten those. And now that I have one of them tightened a little bit, I can rotate carefully so that the screws line up well with my nicer screwdriver here. Alright. Okay, and then we check again to make sure that everything is alright. I think we got that in place. To do some testing and then we'll have to finish tightening those. Next minor repair to be done on this Riccar. This is a bracket with a tiny bumper on it for the bobbin carrier to fit in. And when I took this bracket off this machine, there was a post here and a hole there, and this piece was just flopping loose. It was missing a spring. So I took a little spring, this, out of the assorted box of springs I have around, and I put a spring on these two spots so that this has got some bounce on it now. And when I get it installed, you'll see the space where it's supposed to go and the bumper action it's supposed to provide to help cushion the bobbin case carrier and make a smooth stitch. But on machines like this, you have to check if you find some kind of a little bracket or bumper or something and it doesn't seem to be, it's clearly been installed as a bracket or bumper, but it's not cushioning or anything. You need to study and think about what the action should be on that part. Like I said, this one didn't have a spring here, so this part here just flopped around, and I saw this hole in that post, and with a spring installed on it now, it's got nice cushiony bumper action. So this is the bracket that I had to replace that spring on. It's got this bumper in it, and this bumper here is gonna slip into this notch on the bobbin carrier, and that's what keeps the bobbin case and the bobbin carrier from rotating when the machine runs. See, this bracket is in place, it holds that bobbin carrier, and if I let that drop out of the way, the bobbin carrier starts to turn. So we need to attach, align the bracket, peer in from the side to make sure that it's not pushing tight back against the slot or keyway or whatever where it holds. Alright, we do have a little space there. Perfect. So with that in place and holding this part but not, locking it in place tight, tighten these two screws on that bracket.